one job. One job. So what he's got to do here, he's digging the gravel out because he's got to get this pond down to the depth the customer wants. So Matt's hauling the gravel out of that pond down here. Customer's got him a boat ramp right here. A nice concrete boat launch into the river. It's all armored with riprap, lava rock. Right across the river over there on that far bank is where I built that all up with the filthy whore. In a video, I can't even remember the name of it. Something about an island. So anyway, he's bringing it down here and dumping it down along the riverbank here, but he's having to load his 613 with the excavator, which he described as a pain in the bleep. But he can't bring one of the haul trucks or anything bigger down here because this is the size of the road. And the customer doesn't want this all widened out and the trees knocked down, and I don't blame him. It's a one-time deal, and then, you know, we won't be back in here, so. And then he'll put the dirt back on it to seal the pond up. So he can't get down in there with the little 613, so he's loading it with the 336. And then he's going way down there on a little teeny skinny 8-foot wide road. I asked him, I said, hey, you want to bring the Wapco in? He says, well, I can't get it down there, it's too wide. So the rain continues to come down. We'll see if Matt can get up out of here one more time. He was spinning pretty good last time. If he slides down into that excavator, he's going to be in trouble with Papa. He's going to do her again. He's getting wet today. She's coming down. So this is where I came in the other day with the low boy, and I had to detach it right there on the end of his asphalt and then back the Jeep and the truck in there to get the excavator past. Matt brought enough tires, and we were going to throw down tires. We were going to unload out here on the county road and then tire in so we didn't damage his brand new asphalt. But I said, nah, let's just drive in. I'm too old to do that. So plus I didn't feel very well. I ate a whole bunch of donuts the other day and they made me sick. I can't handle sugar and grease anymore. That nasty whatever's in donuts, all the sugar, just made me sicker than heck. I had to be near a bathroom all day. So this old boy figured out how to do it the easy way. So Matt had a problem with 336 last night. We learned something new about it. So it was blowing oil out the breather all over. So he called Cat and they said, well, you need a new breather filter. Well, that was a new one on me. So this is a breather filter right here, and this gets plugged up and then it starts blowing oil all over. So what they do is they take all your crankcase fumes and run it through a breather, separate the oil, and then your oil goes back in the crankcase. But any guesses on what that cost? Oh, $40 for a crankcase breather filter. Maybe that'll just go bye-bye. Okay, we have fought this and fought this. Bent washers into horseshoes. Finally went and cut some 3/8 plate. So Cat designed this to pull it with 1/2-inch bolts. So that's a 25-ton porta-power in there. And what you do is you put a 1-inch long 5/8 bolt in the center of the crank, and then you screw the retainer plate and the 2 5/8 bolts back over that so that when that pops loose, that ain't gonna hit the ground. Well, so far we haven't been able to make it budge. So here I go again. Hang on to your butts. That should pop by now. That's a lot of pressure on that, and it's just not going. Then we've heated it. I guess I'll get out the torch and heat it some more. So Jake's been working on this thing. Here was the problem. This is the cam drive back here, and there's a gasket that goes here. Anyway, the gasket delaminated. Cat makes awesome gaskets, Bi-Cat gaskets. That's one thing that Cat has not scrimped on quality, is the gaskets. They are good gaskets. Anyway, I've blown the O-rings in my 20-ton hollow center jack trying to pull that crank pulley. So I ordered a new one, and it should be here this week, and we'll see if we can get that thing popped off. So this is what we call the cam fence. It's upside down, but this is the back end where it goes against that housing. And the only way to make these seal is you just gob that gasket on both sides with silicone, and then you put bolts through the top and squeeze it down. I'll show you all that. It's quite a procedure. Otherwise you'll break the fence. This one's been broke and welded right here. And the other thing on a 1693 or D343 is absolutely make sure these holes are slotted towards the top. This is the top here, because as the head's been milled or the block and that everything goes down, if you don't, the bolts won't go in. Or you'll put them in and then you'll try to tighten these and it won't push them down, and that's what breaks this stuff out. And then these are your nozzle adapters. And they go through here. There's a little yellow O-ring that goes on there that seals those. And your glow plug wire comes through here. There's a connector that bolts through here, so you've got like a 1/4-inch stud on both sides and a nut. And then that's your glow plug harness. So I want to thank one of my awesome subscribers who sent me this ultra black. We are no longer going to use that red stuff at all. We're going to use this black. This is the best stuff I've ever seen. When we go to put this cam fence together, we will take rubbing alcohol and clean all the surfaces, and then we'll put some of that ultra on there. I'm not kidding you. You're going to need dynamite to get that apart. That stuff seals things up so good. Anyway, I have awesome subscribers. I want to thank you for sending me that. That was just, it's cool. Okay, this is your cam drive shaft on one of these. It goes in here. You can't screw this up because this flat spot has to line up in there, and it has to line up in the drives. Now, these are pretty forgiving. You can mill quite a bit off the block and the head on these and still get them to go through. And if you take too much, you can shim the cam blocks and raise your cam assembly up so you can get that on. On your C15s, your newer models, you can't do that because it's a gear drive, and after you mill too much off, it's just not gonna work. So this was a really good idea. I wish they'd have come up with the way on the C models, C15 and that, to allow you to cut more off the head and the deck, but they didn't. The only drawback to this one is the sealing system on it. Had I engineered that, that would have been way different. If you ever work on any older cat overhead cam stuff with cam followers, one of the things you want to do is always check the adjusters in these cam followers, and that's what it looks like inside of there. And there's a hole to adjust it, and then there's a hole on the other side. You can see the threads in there. Well, maybe you can't. So on the other side of those threads is a spring and a little plastic puck, and that holds those threads tight. So you put a number 2 Phillips round shank screwdriver in there and take that and turn it just a little bit to make sure there's plenty of tension on that, so that it doesn't unscrew itself and take all the lash out when it's running. You turn your screwdriver clockwise and that will lower it. Turn it counterclockwise and that will raise it. But this is something you absolutely want to check, because if they come unscrewed and they start slapping up and down in there, they can break the bore and do damage. Over to this. So you're making me put this on, so I have to take responsibility for all this, ain't you? In case it leaks again, we'll know who to point the finger at here.
This front's got to kind of...
Yeah. Gus will go in first. Down, clear against the pipe. There. Perfect. Now, fuel lines, are they going to be in my way?
They weren't that close.
Okay, there we are.
Okay, that number 3 is hanging me up.
Okay, where's the... These are all the bolts then. This one goes in really good, but man, these back ones, did you run the threads on these?
I checked them all. My front ones didn't want to go very well. I think it's a gasket.
So what you gotta do is you gotta tighten these down just snug, just a little bit. And then you gotta start going down around the fence, or you'll break the fence doing this. So she's squeezing the silicone, so now go down with this little. You have to push back on the fence at the same time you're pushing it down. If all you do is tighten these and then tighten those, I guarantee you, you're going to break the fence. And it's not going to seal. If you tighten these first, then that, guaranteed to break it on this end. So you kind of have to go down and in. And then we snug them up, kind of let the silicone squeeze out, and then kind of start letting it set up a little bit, and then retorque all this really good in here. Well, we got to loosen this one back up then. Look at that. I leave Jake all alone by himself, and what does he do? He gets stuff done. That's what he does. Anyway, so I had to go in, pick up that head at the machine shop. So Jake's got the cover on, got the fuel lines on, getting this all buttoned up. So that's just totally awesome. My job is I got to get that dang dampener and that pulley off the crank. Hey, check this out. So I took this into the machine shop that's been doing all my machine work. Told them I had this idea to convert this head to the newer style seals. This is an old style head that used to use the packing. And Cat's fix for that was one of these U-cup seals in there to replace the packing, but they walk back and forth in the bore and it eats the edge of the seal off and then they leak. So this is the old, this is the top that used to bolt on there. Anyway, so he has machined the bores in there for the buffer seal, the U-cup seal, and then I can drive in my scraper, the seal that goes out here on the end, the wiper seal. This head you can't buy. This is for the bell cylinder on the scraper. You can't buy one with set up for the newer seals. They're all set up for packing. So anyway, upgrade. It's a Super 637 Super C+++. So I had to make a tool to get this pulley off, and I needed to space this out because I'm going to be pushing on this. And then underneath there, inside the crank, is a 1-inch bolt. Anyway, this will keep the pulley from flying off. But I've been following on Instagram a guy named IC Weld out of Texas. And anyway, so I've been kind of watching what he does and how he sets his torch up. And I'm actually learning. I just did a light grind on that, but it cut really well. So thank you, Mr. IC Weld, for sharing your knowledge. For a mechanic guy, that's awesome. Appreciate it. Okay, that is what it looks like right there. So you're pushing against this, which in turn is pushing straight through onto that bolt head in the center of the crank. When it pops, it'll come out against these bolts. You'll hear it thump, and then you can let the jack off. Okay, got my new ram in there. Let's see what happens. I think I'm gonna have to use some heat. That's tight. That is really tight. That's a 20-ton ram. Good Lord, that's tight. That scared the tar out of me. Holy moly. Whoo-wee. That really popped. Wish I'd had a camera going. I just sat down here so I could feel that, see how hot I got it, and take the torch to it some more if I needed to. But man, that sucker cut loose. Woohoo! So I got 2 new rams from Temco Industries, company out of California. www.temcoindustries.com. Right there. Thanks for the jacks, man, and the quick delivery. I needed it. This is the front crank seal I'm going to put in that D343. Now this is a late model 1693 front crank seal. It's the only place you can get a front crank seal with a wear sleeve in it. So they don't even offer it in the D343 book, and Cat does not make a tool to install the wear sleeve and the seal at the same time. So I drew up a little set of plans, took it into D to S&G, and he whipped this out for me. So this sleeve, as you can see, goes down in this groove right here, and that holds it straight, aligns the seal and everything. So the way this is going to work is this piece bolts to the front of the crank, then this turns around and goes on here like this. It actually fits really well. Anyway, that goes down there like that, and then that'll push that seal and that wear sleeve in the bore exactly where it needs to go. Anyway, this fits awesome. He did a super job, and he even painted it so it won't rust. It's exactly where I planned it to be, which was flush with the chamfer inside. So Hopefully that's gonna work. I mean, that feels really square all the way around with that bore. So I hope that's gonna fix it. Okay, front ceiling. If it leaks this time, I'm gonna scream. Bloody frickin' murder. Okay, this is a cat reversible fan. And this blade right here, the spring's no good in it. The only thing that holds it in place is centrifugal force. And they used to sell parts for these, but they don't anymore. Alright, that's the inside of a cat reversible fan. And the blade goes in like this. And there's a retainer like this that goes on there, slides down over that. And then there's, so you can see there's little teeny springs. And this is the spring, and I just pulled on it and it stretched. Anyway, as you can see, the springs aren't supposed to do that. So it looks like right there it got really hot, like somebody took a torch to this to try to get it to turn. That's a no-no. So I got to find some springs somewhere to hold that one out. And also that one too needs a new spring. So I came into my local Ace Hardware to find some 637 cat fan springs. I think these will work. I'll just have to cut them to length. Hee hee, Jeff wins. Okay, the Ace Hardware springs are in and they work good. So, problem solved. Now I just got to get this cover back on. Okay, we got the hole cleaned out pretty much. Let me show you what's in there. I'm going to put you on the magic stick and take you for a ride. Okay, let's go to the magic carpet ride. This is what they look like. See how they cut that all out? Okay, this is the hydraulic pipe that runs through the bowl on the Filthy Whore. And every one of our other scrapers, we've replaced these. Now, see how corroded and rusted, and we just couldn't take the risk of it breaking. So you can't buy this pipe anymore. So here's what we do. You just cut this weld right here. Pipe comes out of the block. We have a brand new pre-bent pipe in the shop, and then we just weld it to those blocks and put it back in. Okay, these are the hydraulic pipes, and Jake he ground around here with the grinder and then popped the ends off. But this pipe, she was in a pretty bad shape. Whatever was in that can just about ate a hole through this thing. There's some places on here that oh, that right there, that's terrible. I mean, it has ate it through. Something fierce. So anyway, we got this pipe over here bent up, and we have Partner Steel and Pocatello bend these up. It's a little heavier pipe than this. Alright, these are the ends, and you just run the pipe in here, and we stand them up straight up and down, and then just weld one bead around here with some 1/8 inch rod. And this is the one that goes in the back of the can. Anyway, this will keep us going. This will keep us from having a boo-boo out there, a major one. Got the heat turned down a little. What? gotta try not to let this drag when we go in until we get that's always good right there. Great. That's what I thought. Pull it back out. I go way up. Lower your end down. There we go. Okay, now raise your end way up. Woohoo! Okay, the line is in. Now we got to find the bolts, pry it up. It's got 2 half-inch bolts that hold it here. Put the airline fittings in, and then hang this pipe back up on there. Eric Lawhorn's mother, Marguerite, her birthday is Saturday. So, Marguerite, happy birthday to you from Jpaydirt. You got a good son. He must love you. Hey, I'm always getting some really cool and awesome stuff from my subscribers. And I got a package from Thomas Beal down in Perrytown, Texas. And he sent me another lock and lube, which is awesome, and a postcard. Thank you very much for that, Thomas. I know these cost a lot of money, so I really appreciate that. I've got 2 Milwaukee grease guns now, and I'm gonna get a 3rd, so when we go on to this job, we all have a grease gun so we can get our greasing done and get out of there. So this will come in handy for that one. And then my buddy Bloop, he sent me some really cool stuff. Bloop sent me the bottle of bourbon that he had custom made, the maker's mark, and the label says Jpaydirt, the legend. Anyway, that was totally cool. So he's been telling me for a long time he was gonna send me something, and I'm blown away by this, Bloop. This is cool. This is really nice. I love this. Anyway, I wish I was at the Mid-America Truck Show wearing this, but unfortunately I got to keep working on scrapers. I really wanted to go to the truck show again this year. I had a blast last year, and anyway, I really enjoyed it. Wished I could have went. And the Kenworth hat. Now that's nice, man. That's cool. So anyway, Bloop, you're awesome. Awesome. And thank you very much for that, guys. Hey, if you watched my last video called What is a Schrader, I had a blast visiting with Shane and Brian. We had a really good time. We went to Texas Roadhouse, had dinner, traded war stories. Anyway, Shane is a really cool guy. I had a total blast. On the way through again, Shane, stop by. If you got time, let's do that again. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Whiteboard. Get out your drinking glasses, where I introduce you to some more of my awesome subscribers. And speaking of awesome subscribers, I have run out on my list. I printed out the entire comments section several months ago. Anyway, I've gone through all those. So if you'd like to be on the whiteboard, I'm going to start over again. Please leave your name and where you're from, and put it in the comments below. I'll print it out and we'll go from there. So I want to start out with a young man named Eldon Sarland from Drewersburg, Pennsylvania. Eldon just turned 2 years old, March 20th. Happy birthday, belated happy birthday to you, Eldon. And your dad, Mo. Anyway, Eddie's brother for sending this in. I'm sorry I didn't catch it earlier. But anyway, happy birthday to you, and thanks for watching my channel. You're awesome, awesome, awesome. Mike Henry, he's from Arizona. Don't know where, Mike, but you're down there. Nolan from Mammoth Cave, Kentucky. Thank you, Nolan. Dan, is it Daniels from Newton, Iowa? Do they make fig Newtons there? Thanks for subscribing, Dan. Kiki Kitty from Texas. Thank you, Kiki. Seth Parker from Cheraw, South Carolina. Thank you, sir. And Bill Mitten, or Maiton from the UK. Thank you, Bill, for subscribing. Please, if you're out of the United States, please, please, please put your name and where you're from, and I'll get you on the whiteboard. Got lots of hats still. Got the old Kenny hats. Got the traditional style Anderson hats, and the Flex Fit hats, if you'd like those. Also, too, still got a lot of the swimsuit calendars and the Anderson construction calendar. And don't forget the old Kenny coloring book for the kids. Check out the Amazon link below for this one. Again, I don't make money off of this one. This is for someone else. Also, too, the Filthy Horror cutouts from Tony Spresser. I've got those still. I've shipped several out. Anyway, if you'd like one, go to my e-store. It's www.jpaydirt.com, and that link will also be pinned in the comments below, so you can check that out. Want to thank those of you who've donated to Shane. We still don't know anything. I just don't know what's going on with them. I can't believe they're dragging their feet. So those of you that have donated to him, that's awesome. If there's some of you that are new to this, I have a video. I'll put that link below. You can watch it about Shane. He's a veteran. Anyway, if you'd like to help him, I'll leave my address below, and you can send a donation. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you next week. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. If you'd like to keep up with what old Jpaydirt's up to, the best thing in the world you can do is go get an Instagram account. You don't have to have a picture. You don't have to use your real name. And you can mark the account as private. You don't have to post anything, but you can follow me. That way, during the week, you can see what I'm up to. I do post a lot of stuff on Instagram and Facebook. If you don't like Facebook, Instagram is the place to go. Instagram has a lot of cool stuff on it. I have just been absolutely amazed with the amount of stuff I pick up off of Instagram. People that weld, people that machine, just all kinds of stuff. So check out Instagram and get you an account. I promise you won't regret it.